Hello class, here I am again. It's Monday the 17th, I think it's St. Patrick's Day. I'm a little bit Irish, maybe you are, although I'm not much of a green beer celebrator. I'm going to spend my day teaching all of you and then doing a little other work in the evening. It's week 5 of our class already. How did that happen? So fast, these 5-week classes. They're just here and gone. You don't even know what happened. Hopefully all of you have had a chance to look and see that your rough draft copies are back to you. There are written out notes in the comments on each of those papers, but there are also comments sort of as little footnotes all the way through your paper, so please be sure to read all the comments on your paper and use that information to make your final paper stronger. I would really love it if everybody did great on their final paper. And with that in mind, of course, I have a few things I would like to discuss this week. Okay, first of all, your final paper has to be about 2 cultural groups that are not your own. So if you wrote your paper partially about the U.S., you need to take that part out of your paper and put in another culture that is not your own. This may seem a little arbitrary, but there's actually a really good reason for it. If you're writing about cultural practices from your own cultural group, you're more likely to use your own experience and not academic journals. And remember, this is meant to be a research paper. So be sure that you're not using the U.S. in your paper. Let's see, what else? Oh, many folks got the comment, this is not an academic journal. This is not a scholarly source on their paper. I put a little bit more detailed announcement in our announcement section that goes over some examples of things that are definitely not academic journals, but I have just a few to share with you here. One of them is, if it's a random website, it's not an academic journal. Even if it's a random website that you know the name of the guy that wrote it or the woman that wrote it, still not an academic journal. Academic journals are peer-reviewed. They are not for profit. Other people have looked at the facts in them and checked them to make sure they're right. So they're not just opinions. Also not an academic journal is journalism. Anything written for a newspaper might offer some interesting detail that you could add in, but it's not someone's original research, and it would not be an appropriate source for your paper. You could maybe use it for a secondary source, but it would definitely not count towards the requirement of academic journals for your paper. You really want to go into the Ashford Library and seek out some anthropological journals. That's what's going to give you the level of ethnographic detail that you're looking at. And finally, folks have used some popular magazines instead of academic journals. Things like Time and, well, I don't know. But the most important thing is that a couple of them were actually scholastic magazines, which you may remember from grade and middle school are written for children. So those articles might show up in the library. They might show up in response to a search that you run. But if you look at it and are like, wow, this is really simple to read, or, geez, I kind of remember the name of this magazine when I was a kid, or really, if you have any questions about it at all, you can always Google the title of the journal, and you'll be able to clearly tell if it's written for an academic audience or not. And if you're really not sure, send me an email. Say, I just found this great article about blah, 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 and I'm unsure whether it would be appropriate for my paper. Can I use it? I promise to get back to you within 24 hours and let you know whether that's okay or not. Okay. So, and as you're finishing up your final draft of the paper, remember there's lots of help available. You can reach out to the library. We still have all that great live writing center help where you can get live chat for a quick question, or you can submit your paper. There's like, I think, a 48-hour turnaround on that, so if you're going to do it really soon, you can submit the paper and get comments from them that would be helpful on top of the comments you already have for me. And then the last thing I want to say about your papers is, do you remember in the very first video we spent together where I went on and on about how I have the same Google that you all have? I've been so enthusiastic about this class because you all have been in the discussions and turning things in on time, and everything's been great, but there is still a number of you that submitted work that is not your own. And I sort of don't even want to go into this in this video because I feel like folks that are doing a really good job on this don't particularly need to hear this lecture again. But I do want to say that cutting and pasting material from the web that you didn't write is not your own. Every single one of your papers gets run through Turnitin automatically before it even gets to me. And you can do it from your end too. So if you're like, I'm not sure whether I paraphrased this enough to make it legitimate, or I just want to check and make sure that I didn't accidentally cut and paste anything into here from another source, you can run it through Turnitin. I don't see that at all. You can fix the places where you've gone awry and then submit it to me. But when you do submit it to me, the university automatically runs it through Turnitin before it lands in my waypoint box. And if it turns out that you have put material into your paper that you did not personally write, or quotations from an author that are not within quotation marks and with proper citations at the end and a full reference at the end, so you're clearly giving credit to the person who wrote it, that's plagiarism. And if there's enough of it, I'm going to turn you into the university, and neither of us wants that to happen. Then my last little thing on the, class business, please don't do this thing is, I've noticed over the last couple of weeks that the peer responses, some of them are really great. People are engaged and discussing what their fellow students have to think and bringing in new ideas and tying stuff back to the text and having really thoughtful questions about others' experiences. And some of you are writing one or two sentences that says, yeah, I really agree with that. Great post. I just want to say again, not a substantial response. You're not going to get very much credit for that. And also, this time we spend together in the discussion forums is our classroom engagement with one another. And it's better for everyone if it is rich and thoughtful and interesting. And so, stay a little bit away from the good luck in the future and dig a little bit more into the, what did you mean by that thing that you said? My understanding of X when I read it was this, and you understand it in a whole different way, and it made me think about things differently. That's what we want to read. Okay, so it's week 5. We're going to talk about globalization and the feminization of poverty. Kind of bummer topics to end on, but there's some interesting stuff in there, lots of great stuff to read, and you will be working on your final draft of your paper. Remember, submit it to Waypoint in time. Double check, push the assignment, check assignment status button and make sure that it went through in time. And, you get 2 extra days if you need them. But if you end up taking them, then you're already starting out only getting half credit on the paper. And the paper is 25% of your grade. So, get them in on time. Reach out to me. I'm going to be here all week. I promise for this week I will get back to you within 24 hours. I'm usually really quick on the spot with the email. But this week in particular, if you have questions and you need some help, reach out to me. I'm happy to give it. We can go back and forth with email. We can have a little Skype date. We can do whatever is helpful for you because I want you to do well on your final project. Good luck with week 5. Go read some great stuff. I can't wait to see you all in the discussion forums. Bye.